Sounds just like it, Dev. But look, I think it's quite cool to see both Valkyrie and even Wamai get through, you know, two bans that often happen also on Cafe. And maybe, just maybe, the Valkyrie ban meta is slowly slipping away. Only talking about two matches so far, but to see her played in both is what feels not that common. She was the most banned defender in last stage.
Yeah, crazy to think. But Specker's going to take up the mantle with no delay whatsoever. A lot of information gathering here on the order side. Valcam's Echo, but the pick off onto the Clash instead. We did have a bit of a tease from Guz saying that Order had a terrible moment, particularly Nico had a bit of a shocking moment on the Clash on Cafe in OCN Stage 2. I'm pretty confident that Order have gotten past some of those key issues that have been plaguing them and causing problems like that. And I, for one, am looking forward to the Clash.
Me too, definitely keen. And look, I'm just super keen because Order, they had some roster changes all kind of throughout the year, but this is finally a chance where they've gone from stage to stage with a consistent roster, except they've added extra support stuff. And I mean, they kind of had support stuff throughout the year, but this just feels like a bit more of a significant step. You know, bringing in a fairly experienced player like Derpe that, you know, a lot of people probably remember from the wildcard days when they qualified for Tokonami Pro League finals and the Six Invitational. You know, he really does have a significant amount of experience, so putting him into that support staff role, I think, you know, I really think it could be good for this roster.
If there's anything that Order have been needing over the last very long time, it is just that structure and that support. And I definitely think Derpa has the level of experience needed to make that happen. As for the Direwolves guys, the level of support that they have been very eagerly awaiting all this time is that from an organization, and now they have that. Now they have quite a substantial number of support staff themselves, and they have the rookie joining the roster, Jackie Wu, previously just playing in nationals, never playing at this regional level. Let's see whether he's got what it takes to hang with the big boys.
Oh, very keen. Now Bailey trying to be a bit of a pest there in Piano, denying that swift entry. Somewhat worked out, but he has lost a fair amount of HP in trying to do so. That's going to be a bit of a pain for him later on. Either way though, still some support from below, and Direwolves just really taking their time to get this info and really figure out how they want to clear out this Piano position. There's some castle barricades hindering them from doing so swiftly, but that is some beautiful drone info coming from Souffle.
Trying to put some pressure onto this Clash at Pixel. I love this from Pika, the positioning. He can cut off all the white hallway, all the way deep into Pixel. But what are Direwolves going to do here? They've got a lot of info. We saw the IQ's Ping 2.0, new feature with her electronics detector. She can now scan gadgets through walls and ping them for her teammates. Saw that spot out the Valcam in Piano. Now, wow, a lot of pressure put onto Nate, anchoring on site. A lot of these roamers downstairs to try and support, but Direwolves are yet to really take the plunge.
They are, and it starts to be a bit worrisome when we're coming into this final minute. ED now, he's coming up from the bottom of white stairs. He's looming. There are a couple of players playing these vertical slots that he could try pick out. Seems like Nico might have heard something, starting to hold that angle. He's very wary of this white stairs position, but importantly here, Dev, as you said, Direwolves, they need to start to really make a move here. 40 seconds to go. Nate's the one that opens it up for Order. This is going to be a tough little finish to it.
Oh, Nico still roaming downstairs. ED's trying to find him. Can land that shot eventually, but the refrag comes through for Specker. And Order are holding fast, and Jack Daddy has been holding the line with that 416. Souffle 1v3. A very slow start here for Direwolves. Not the opening round they were looking for. And with a Clash staring him down, there's just nothing Souffle can do. Jack Daddy finds the triple, and Order a comfortable opening round. Never feeling the pressure, not for a moment.
No, they looked very comfortable on that, and there's something else to consider. You know, do Direwolves have the new org jitters? I mean, just one round in, but a key indicator for new org jitters is just sometimes a lack of confidence or looking a bit lost, and that is exactly how I would describe that attack from Direwolves. They got some info early and some pot shots onto Bailey, but it just never really progressed past that. I mean, ED tried to get some penetration into that final minute, into the second floor, but it just never really eventuated to anything. And as you kind of described, Order just looked comfortable on site. They sat back, got their picks, and secured the round.
Defenders, protect your
And we talked a little bit about the map that's chosen. Direwolf's most banned map, Order's second most banned map, both of them likely working on it on the break. And of course, Bank being in the pool does make things a little bit more difficult. Can't just comfortably ban another map unless if you've got Bank in your pool. But looking holistically, these two teams have now played each other twice throughout their careers in official games. APAC South Stage 1, APAC South Stage 2. Both times a convincing, decisive Direwolves, and at the time 7th Heaven victory, 7-3, Clubhouse and Oregon respectively. But Order, they had a shocking Stage 2, and we know from that piece of content Guz mentioned earlier on the Order socials that they were so hungry on the off-season during the break to come back with fire so they wouldn't end up in that bottom spot. They say that they know that it was them who defeated themselves, and they are holding themselves accountable to that.
Here's a good opportunity to prove that to be the case as well. It's a good way to start it. And to that end, you know, talking about some of the content that they've posted on Twitter, did also see Jack Dad stating, you know, it's probably the most he's played the game in an off-season in a very long time. Wow. And I would say way back, you know, years ago, actually, Jack Dad he's a bit of an OG player in Oceanic Siege. And he was probably a top 10 player in his prime. You know, like, he can be absolutely deadly. And so if he really is back in some of that top form, I think that is just going to be a massive factor for Order being able to bring it back in this stage.
With Derper to guide them as well. Let's see what Direwolves can do though. A little bit more initiative taken here. Map clear all the way from the 3rd floor down. Bit of a roam here on the 2nd floor. Couple of players in Fireplace. Not able to get vertical pressure onto that position. It's going to make it a bit difficult here for Direwolves. Good info as well. Once again, the Valkyrie left unbanned and coming to have an impact for the defense. How long will these Order players hold the roam?
Such a good point. You know, if you're going to do the top-down clear when it's the kitchen bomb site, you need to kind of do so efficiently. Thankfully for the Direwolves, Pecan has got that first pick, and that's going to help a little bit. Bailey, though, he's just snuck up on Pecan to get that refrag. Had no idea that Bailey was over at the bar, and that's going to put Order back in that even footing.
A lot of map control still held for Order despite not taking upstairs. They've still extended out to VIP. Order will start feeling this pressure now as Direwolves begin the vertical play. ED, the primary man up for the job, spotting out some util, gonna nade out that Banshee. Now some drone work to come before the spot. Okay, that was the uncooked nade that somehow found a kill.
Could have just been some unfortunate timing. You know, when you've got that uncooked nade, if the player hasn't heard it drop, you could run into it at the wrong timing. Really not sure, but unfortunate for Nate, and that is going to put Direwolves in a really good spot here. 20 seconds for them to execute. It's coming in through Freezer.
Oh, but that's a perfect line, and the crossfire. Specker and Bailey together. Just Souffle remaining. That triple drop did not work out. Not one bit. Order looking to make this back-to-back. Specker holding the line. Jack Daddy eager as well, and Souffle is not going to give him the opportunity. Just finds the consolation frag. Back-to-back rounds here on the defense for Order.
Yeah, good job for Order. And it was a little bit better from Direwolves than that. I mean, they started to get themselves some kind of opening, but really big oversight when they felt like they had that chance on the freezer drop. They just clearly didn't really know exactly what they were dropping into. It really was a bit of a death trap. Just beautiful crossfire from Bailey and Specker. They netted a 3K between them, and then it was kind of over at that point. So look, really good stuff from Order. Going to move through, and they could potentially be staring down a 3-0 here. Reading Fireplace is going to be their 3rd site to go for here on Cafe.
I love this Reading Brom site. I think it's one of the strongest. And we're seeing not only the Thunderbird make her return here, but also the Tachanka. We've seen quite a bit of Tachanka. I feel like the There's a new wave of operator choices and flexibility we're seeing here, Raven, from both sides. We've seen a lot of Lion on the attack. We've seen a lot of Tachanka and Thunderbird on the defense. And I'm loving the creativity we're seeing from players in implementing strategies to use them.
Yeah, obviously we haven't had a massive amount of Crystal Guard to see yet in R6 Esports, but yeah, it looks like there is a degree of extra creativity that we're seeing coming into this stage. Some different operator lineups in general. Seen a little bit of Tachanka, which, you know, we were kind of expecting a little bit after his rework, but it's taken a bit of time to start to be more prevalent. And yeah, look, seeing the Thunderbird again. So I like that. I'm really excited to see how Thunderbird comes into play, and again, what sites she can actually have an impact with these Kona stations.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll be doing with them. Direwolves have been quite slow to start here. That initiative hasn't always been prevalent for them. Not a lot of conviction on what they are to push. Sometimes they're getting the information, not acting upon it. Here's some info for Ray. This is a Gemini goes on through, clearing piano. Good bit of info. Now who's to act on that?
Yeah, certainly needs to follow up, but either way, they've got that now. Piano control. Start to try and push out across the map, and this is so far quite good time management. You know, if they manage to really push out these cocktail players over the next 30 to 45 seconds, actually going to give themselves a pretty decent advantage to set up for a reading plan. It's all about trying to clear out this top floor, maybe get a few picks along the way, but most importantly, get that vertical control.
Oh, Pika to find the opening. Jack Daddy goes down. Vertical pressure very heavily applied here. Nico can drop that hatch as well. Bailey's still upstairs and with such an angle as well. The Kona Station 2 support. Oh, doesn't land the shots he needs onto Jackie. And that leaves the Hibana still up and standing just under half HP. ED looking to contest this. Such a difficult angle to contest with all of those tiny holes in the bar, but the nade may well do the trick. As it flies on through, it's caught by an ADS. And Nico through the floor to support with the fire from Tachanka. Bailey can do so much damage.
It's amazing that he is still just over in this corner, hanging out, full HP. I haven't quite been able to deal with him yet. He could be a massive impact, but no, finally, Souffle has found it. And this little vault from Nico to get a tighter angle on the hatch is just such a Nico thing to see.
Might find one for it as well. Would be nice. 5v3, certainly an advantage for Direwolves. The first significant advantage we've seen from them. He gets stuck and punished. 5v2 now. Direwolves poised and ready, but Nate hears that drop and a second. What can he do? Such a pivotal moment now for Direwolves as they force this diffuser down. Specker, he's far back and there is a player above. Souffle to finish Nate off. All on Specker in the 1-on-5. It's a flawless for Direwolves.
Yeah, look, huge answer back from Direwolves. Just at the moment across those 3 rounds, to think about it in a bit more of a macro sense, it feels like they've just progressively looked better and better, maybe more comfortable. Could be something to do with the sights. It could be, again, just shaking off a bit of the jitters. Very excited to obviously represent the New Organ Direwolves. Maybe it's just that little bit extra settling in period that they need. This is where it's really important for Order to hold on. They started off so well those first 2 rounds. They don't want to let that slip away. If this goes to 2-2, then it's kind of just, yeah, neutralizes it a bit. And they just struggled. I mean, Bailey held a pretty tight position in Cocktail. That was all right. But outside of that, Order just got absolutely steamrolled by Direwolves in that round.
Yeah, and does make you a bit concerned for Order. Of course, they can go back to bar and back to kitchen afterwards, but I don't think they'll have much luck defending reading once again. Direwolves so dominant, and I hope we see some of that dominance on some of these other bomb sites. Direwolves are a strong team. We've seen pretty exemplary things from them in the past, despite stage 2 not being quite their cup of tea. They ended up second last. Order at last, both teams tied for points, 7th Heaven only being ahead because they won that head-to-head match. And I guess we can take from that how important it is to win, especially this game right here. And it may well be at the end of the stage. Direwolves and Order very close to each other on that scoreboard. Very close on the points, and it may come down to a head-to-head. Oh no!
Oh, Nico. You gotta get your head out of the window at the start of the round, man. That's so unfortunate. Really not a great start to the round for Order. I think he got his castle barricades down at least. I hope he did. But look, if you're Direwolves, that is how you want to start a round. That was a really nice opening pick. Bit of a freebie, you might say.
It doesn't get much freer than that. Shotgun out. But is it the first Dominator fall for Order, I wonder?
Might just be. This is the thing of last time though, of Direwolves attacking this site. They really just took a lot of time to put pressure in through Piano. They had an attempt at kind of clearing it out, but never really got the teeth required. Order were able to just stand up, and I mean, we kept describing it as looking comfortable. So I think this is just a lot of pressure back in the camp of Direwolves here. They need to not let Order be comfortable. They need to really try and flush out these positions, and in particular, if they can find one more pick, it means that Order will have to, you know, retreat a little bit deeper into sight, and it means that the map control can really be obtained, and that's how it can really progress towards that plant.
But once again, it is slow for Direwolves. Not really making a lot of progress so far. In through Cigar Lounge. Oh God. They still can't, for some reason, get through those holes, just making them a little bit too thin. Bailey put under the pump a little bit. Nate comes through. He can dodge that. Great work with the clash here. An ever-present focus for Direwolves. Holding on. Can he actually potentially take down some of these X-Kairos pellets as well? Might not need to. As Direwolves start to set themselves up, Jack Daddy behind the clash could deal some damage.
Definitely could, but not much time on the board here for Direwolves. Order just hanging in there. Specker runs straight past a player. It's ED. He gets that pick. Order just crumbling a little bit. And Bailey, he's going in deep on his own. He gets punished. Jackie Wu is the punisher, and less than 30 seconds. Order trying to hold on.
Jack Daddy punished as well. And Jackie goes deep in for it. Sets that diffuser down on the ground. Nate 1-on-4. Not impossible, has a C4, but first kill makes it a bit easier. C4 goes over, barely any damage dealt. 1-on-3 now for Nate. We know he's capable, but not gonna make it easy is Souffle. Direwolves have made this even once again.
That they have, and that's just unfortunate. You know, again, the solid start that Order had, it's kind of all slipped away. And can't help but feel like that freebie of Nico just standing in the window at the start of the round, just so unfortunate.
That's what happens, right? Like, I feel like Direwolves have seemed like a team where they get the info, but they don't have the commitment to just go for something. But when they get fed a free kill at the start, it makes that a hell of a lot easier, doesn't it? You just don't have to worry about it anymore. It's so much easier to find a next step when you don't really have to worry about your opening. You're already set.
Yeah, it really does. You know, just having that man advantage from the get-go can be so helpful on the attack side. There's really no other way to say it. So look, time for Order to move past that. They're going to put that rounds in their back pocket. Don't worry about it. Move on. Kitchen cooking. They did pretty well last time. You know, they held off Direwolves for a fair amount of the roam clear in round 2. And then they just kind of had that death trap all set up. So even when Direwolves tried to push to site, it was just a real comfortable crossfire from Bailey and Specker, easy as you like. So time to back that up for Order here to at least secure, you know, a potential 3-3 half.
Certainly mean a lot for them at the moment, wouldn't it? See if this roam can be a little bit more successful as well for Order. Bailey upstairs. Seeing what he can do. Some early information, barricading off library. And for Direwolves, this is a little bit of a redemption. Stage 1 was pretty astonishingly good from them, making playoffs. Stage 2, a bit disappointing. Made some roster changes, got picked up by fairly significant Oceanic Esports organization. Feels like Direwolves are just looking to redeem themselves and bring some fresh faces into the fight.
And yeah, look, on the other hand, this is Order's last chance to really get out of that lower end of the standings. They really don't want to be there. They don't feel like they should be there. As we said, the content they've posted really indicated that they feel like they've been losing to themselves. They feel like they're a better team. It's their big opportunity. They need to finally make APAC playoffs and really get that stage to prove themselves as the roster that they feel they are.
Opening though for Nico. Pika goes down, that's the Lion. No doubt Order will be wiping their brows, happy to have the E1Ds off the trot, but Ray also falls victim to the Tachenka. Specker holding just outside garage is Jackie Wu on the other side, and Direwolves can't sink their teeth into this round.
They really can't. 90 seconds down, and they've lost 2 players. ED just looming on this top floor, but it's just felt like a very strange, kind of disjointed little push. And speaking of, Bailey just completely not realizing ED is there. It's giving away a quick little pick to give Order maybe a peek back into this round.
Nate to hold on as long as he can, VIP. But Direwolves may not have an approach onto site unless if they can get some vertical play going. As ED starts to make his way over to Fireplace. Hibana trying to open up some lines of sight, put pressure down towards that objective, but Specker's holding C4 in hand, ready to try and make some vertical of his own and take down this Sledge player, but time's ticking.
Time certainly is. Seconds to go now as Edie tries to get the frag in towards Kochek, doesn't net the kill. Player doesn't even move an inch. It's Nico, of course it is, on the Tachenka. He's locked and loaded, ready to go, and in this final 30 seconds, I think Direwolves are going to be in for a bit of a tough time.
Nate does find another one. He is the immovable object in VIP. Immovable is also Nico, as he can easily clean up that kill, and Jack Daddy for the last one. Order back on it, ready to support each other and ready to take this half. It's 3-2 at the moment, and Direwolves once again take a blow.
Yeah, that was just much cleaner in general from Order. They just, really good positioning, and as you said, they're looking out for each other. They had so many good crossfires towards the end where you could just see it in their outlines. As soon as those Direwolves players tried to push in towards site, it was just no going. They might have got one, but it was always going to be refragged. That's really good stuff from Order, and definitely worrying for Direwolves. If they manage to lose this half 4-2, maybe not the end of the world. 4-2 half is certainly manageable, and not that strange for Cafe either.
Does make you wonder, Direwolves, both of the times they've played Order in the past, it's been a 7-3 result. Not feeling like they can achieve the same again. It would have to be 5 in a row from here on out. Order are definitely outdoing their previous results against Direwolves, but just to hark back onto that piece of content that we saw on the Order Twitter page, the voices of the players themselves, they didn't think that they were losing to their opponents within the league. They thought they were losing to themselves. And I think we're starting to maybe see, Raven, Order finally having the guts to face their inner demons.
It's an important step, right? Like, you have to really... even just some people might say, oh, that's a bit of a cheap excuse, right? To be like, oh, we made mistakes, we lost to ourselves. But I actually think that's like a really admirable step. Sometimes you have to admit that you are making a lot of mistakes, and that's the only way to fix them. So I think it's a really good step, and I'm so keen to see if Order can really get on top of this. They've made that big move with getting Derpe on as support staff, and hopefully that does stabilize the ship. I think it was Guz that said on the desk, that could definitely provide them some structure that was much needed, and have to agree, Order definitely known as the roster for quite a while that have a fairly loose and kind of opportunist playstyle, I would say. They're always hunting for those little inner opportunities at any point of the round, and they would be the team that hits trigger and go. And it's kind of like a bit of a roll of the dice. So having some structure to back that up, I think is very critical for them to be able to overcome some of these issues.
May well be exactly what Order needed. But for Direwolves, you know, they have made a roster change of their own, bringing on Jackie, the rookie. We have new Jack and old Jack in this game. We've got Jackie Wu versus Jack Daddy, the daddy and the son, I guess. Looking to finally settle once and for all, who is the superior Jack?
It's the answer everybody's wanted all along, isn't it, Dave? Who is the superior Jack?
So a lot of Jack's a very common name. There's a lot of Jacks out there. You know how there was that big Josh fight a while back? You know, where they got all these Joshes?
Oh, yes.
They had to fight. I feel like we're very close to being able to pull that off with the Jack fight.
I like it. Definitely keen. Well, we're having a mini version of that right now, and Jack Daddy, I guess scoreboard-wise, is currently on top as the best Jack. So let's see whether that maintains. Direwolves so far, you know, getting a lot of info. Their early droning has been fairly decent, but I think it was something that you said, Dev, the follow-up is kind of something it's been lacking. They seem to get the info, but there's not much action on it afterwards. And yet again, we've just seen a lot of drones come out in this first minute, but nothing really following it up at all. There's a bit of a sneak in here from the Yana. It looks like it must be the Gemini. Sure is. Again, getting a lot of info.
But Nate does take it down with the laser. And for me, I think the linchpin of this round is Order's Clash player, Bailey. Fairly ineffective in Piano last time. Direwolves kind of saw him, waved, and just went on about their business. Is Order able to leverage this to more success on the second attempt?
This is going to be an interesting little final minute to the round. We saw it way back in round 1. It was a 5v5 until about 50 seconds, I believe. Maybe even a bit later. Feels like this round is exactly how that's tracking, but the fact that Bailey is still over in pixel position, just hanging out with the Clash Shield in hand, that's a little bit concerning from Direwolves. It's such a critical aspect to this attack, is clearing out Piano and Pixel. Just haven't really had much chance to do so, or haven't created an opportunity for themselves to do so. Got some players here ready to pinch, but 40 seconds remaining. Can't help but feel this favors the defense.
Oh, it does certainly when Nico can land that shot. Attempted a refrag from Ray, but Order are giving up absolutely nothing. That's a nice shot. Jack goes down, but the other Jack is down on the floor waiting to be picked up. And this Clash, as well as the Maestro's Evil Eye, is going to make it very, very difficult. Ray's clawing this one back, however.
15 seconds remaining.
Time ticking away. He's going to have to do a whole lot more than that. Souffle pushing deep up through bar. And that Clash is the ever-present threat for Direwolves. But desperately, they claw forward once again. Souffle, the last man. And Nico, at the end of it, can clean up, pick up the pieces. Order, run away, 4-2 on the half.
Yeah, good 4-2 half from Order. I was a bit worried when we got it back to 2-2 that maybe they might start to lose a bit of grip on it, but no, they really did a great job holding that back. And I feel like, if anything, I mean, Order looked fairly decent in these defenses, but if anything, I feel like the Direwolves attack just looked very listless. I don't know if that's the word I want to go with, but just so much not really... I don't know. It's so hard to categorize. I just feel like they lack so much progress, right? I feel like the best example is so many early drones, which is great. They got lots of info, but just the lack of progression off that, you know, not getting any entry picks off the back of a lot of that info, not getting, you know, Order out of position even early. Just stuff like that really cost them a lot on those attacks.
I guess it does come down partly to the fact that Direwolves not looking to address a lot of the utility and the, I guess, the positions that Order bring to the table head on. Order have this Clash in Pixel. They have the Maestro at Cocktail. Direwolves aren't looking to directly address those. They're just kind of, all right, you're there. We're gonna do something else. And if we can find the picks, it'll work. If we can't, it won't. Let's see, though, Direwolves switch onto their defense of their own. They also have the Castle and the Maestro. Bit of a hard hold here in Cigar Shop, and I quite like the way that we have that Aruni Gate, the Surya, to help defend that armor panel from the Castle as well. Creative setup here we're seeing on Cafe.
They're really keen to see if Direwolves just generally look more comfortable on these defenses. conversely, I'm really keen to see how Order's attack pans out. I mean, we were talking about the defense lineup a little bit just then, but looking at the Order lineup, they've gone for the Maverick and the Hibana for their attack lineup. Can't help but feel the Maverick is probably playing slightly more of an entry as opposed to necessarily hard breach. Certainly going to be helpful, but you know, just the weaponry that the Maverick brings and the frag grenades actually is a fairly, you know, helpful entry operator to bring. And Nate can certainly hold his own on some kind of entry role.
That's it. Got frags. Even the blowtorch can be helpful in a pinch. Very versatile operator Maverick. Jackie Wu holding very close to finding an engagement here. Oh, the flashbang also goes off. Nico might have the entry. He's been looking for pre-fire through the wall. My God, Jackie can find one before traded back. And Order do take that map control, still that castle barricade intact.
A bomb has been located.
ED also pushed up in a very tight position here. Order aren't aware this could be something that catches them off guard. I feel like that was a fairly good trade for Direwolves though. I mean, losing Bailey, some frag grenades, and the Gemini, that's maybe not the greatest play from ED though. Nate's going to punish that.
Yeah, look, I don't really know what to say about that one, but ED, keep that up and don't think you'll be getting that chair you've been desperately waiting for. Cheeky play though from Pika. Looking to find something, leverage this position he's got in Piano, but curiously, we're seeing once again Order not addressing Piano, saying, hey, we don't need that control. We can just, with that castle barricade up, focus on the bomb site.
Yeah, I don't mind the call, but they've got less than 40 seconds now to really try and continue to make something of this. There's a nicely placed BPC there that's getting a lot of info, and Ray is going to be an absolute demon from the backstore, and this is just so quickly falling apart for Order, and just like that, Dev, Direwolves run over the top.
That they do. Pika on for a huge flank. May well have torn down that... No, he didn't even tear down the castle barricade. Was there a rotation top red? I don't know how he did it, but he comes through and the castle players show up massively in this game. Consistently. Direwolves fight back once again. 3-4 now, one step closer to evening this up. Order have been on track, and at the very least, they've done better than they did against Direwolves in stage 1 and 2. But Direwolves haven't had their say of it yet.
I feel like this is going to be a really close finish. You know, Order seeming to have had some similar issues to Direwolves on that attack. Just didn't feel like it was really going anywhere a whole lot coming towards the real crunch period of the round. Like, they did make some progress, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to time, that's not in your favor on the attack. So you really have to get yourself to a certain point until it just becomes a bit of a dogfight to close the round out. You don't necessarily want to do that. It certainly does more so favor the defense. So I don't know, I really feel like Direwolves have a chance here. If they manage to get these first 2 rounds and even it up, we could be seeing the defense come back.
Definitely on the cards. Direwolves have been a team that has surprised us time and time again. They've earned our merit and the expectations that we've placed on them. Stage 1 in particular, really, really good showing from them. Stage 2 fell off a little bit. Stage 3, well, what's in store? We don't know exactly yet. But we know they're a team that, despite not being around for a very long time at the top level, you know, you look at players from Order that have been playing at a pro level for years and years and years. Well, Direwolves, as 7th Heaven, only joined the pro circuit halfway through last year. And they've done a lot with what they've been given.
Yeah, they really have. They've certainly impressed quite a lot this year. Certainly far exceeding expectations based on their more recent performances through APAC North. That is a great opening kill from Specker though. Very aggressive little entry here from Order. Not going to be bullied by the clash at all in Bakery. They're just going to go straight in. Finding that opening pick is such a great way to start a round.
This open hold is not proving to be very successful so far for Direwolves. Jack Daddy is planning where he's going to make a breach. The Hibana will easily erupt on that main site wall. An easy ingress into site. Now, if there's anything Direwolves here could leverage, it's the vertical play and the map control that they have retained.
Definitely could be. That clash is still looming as well, so I mean that always is going to create a pain. Seeing a potential flank coming down red here. In fact, 2 players. One looked like it's Pika getting some info, so this is not without intel. This could be really deadly. If Order do not catch this flank, Souffle could have a devastating opening here for Direwolves.
We'll have to be very, very cautious. Pika as well with shotgun up above. Jackie Wu finds one from on site. Where is that air jab? He's looking for it. He takes it down. This could be huge now. But, oh my God, Souffle does round the corner, finds the double. And Direwolves are back in this. Spec are scared to peek that angle. But for Order, there is a redeeming, a shining light. The fact that there's really no one on the bomb site here for Direwolves. As Order flood on through, Pika does have the ability to defend this from the vertical angle. Can he get the shot? I don't think he can. Souffle's going to have to do it. And Order might have this.
Yeah, really good plant spot picked from Order. Can't quite get the vertical on it from what Pika was trying to do. So as you said, retake on Direwolves. This is going to be a very tough position for them to get this retake happening.
Pistol in hand, but Spec is watching the angle perfectly. Souffle flashed out of this world. Another flashbang to come through. There is absolutely no hope for him. In the 1-on-2, Nico can polish it off. Order, what a response to that flank, sending it deep. And Nico and Specca further this lead, 5-3.
Just a really great overall round from Order. I mean, I loved the start of their round. They just did not get bullied at all around Bakery. The way it was set up by Direwolves, you know, they had the half soft wall with the line of sight all the way through on that main Bakery wall. And they had the clash at the prep door to bully. I just love that Order just looked at that and they thought, no, like, we're taking Bakery. We're just going to do it straight away. And they did. They got an opening pick from it, getting that control early. It really set up the rest of that round. So even though, yeah, Souffle did have a devastating flank, because Order had gotten that early map control and been able to really push out the players on site, they just, like you said, they just sent it. They went deep with Diffuser when that was that 2v2 scenario. It just created those opportunities. So overall, that was just a fantastic round from Order.
Are we starting to see that Order that we've been looking for yet? This Order that says, hey, we know that we've been defeated by ourselves and, you know, we've had a good hard look in the mirror. We've had a bit of a punch on and now we're ready to go. Do we think we're seeing that Order yet manifested here in the server?
Look, maybe we are. I mean, it was referenced on the desk, I think, much earlier at the pre-show, the start of the night here, that round 1, or Playday 1 of stage 2, it was also this team's playing off. And Order got slapped on Oregon, 3-7 by Direwolves. It was then 7th Heaven, but that was just very, you know, it was a very poor performance from them. They just looked quite awful, to be honest. But this is total opposite. Playday 1, stage 3, they're looking much better. You know, their analysis of a lot of situations is looking sharper, and I don't know, I just feel like they're holding it together much better.
Not to say Order are looking like the best team in the league right now, but they are certainly looking like one of the best versions of Order we have seen in quite some time. And like you said, Jack playing more Siege than he thinks he ever has during this off-season. Coming from an OG like Jack Dad, that really means something. As I say that, he actually gets spawn peeked by Souffle.
You've
He's
done
going to
it dirty.
spend the rest of this round cast a curse into watching cams.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Order going to have to fight with that man disadvantage now for the remaining 2 minutes. Souffle certainly proving to be quite the pain, as we know him to be. He has been such a prolific fragger here for Direwolves, and yet again, Nico trying to get aggressive. So does Bailey, tries to back it up. Souffle on the triple, almost on the 4K. Specca shuts him down, but not before the bleeding has been going pretty hefty. 2 versus 4 situation right now for Order.
Souffle put the team on his back there and went large. Now Order try and claw this back. We've seen what 2 players from their side can do when in a pinch. Spec has already had 1 clutch to his name. It's him and Nate together now. And Nate to come through, bounces off below, clears any util under the skylight. Another one to just be certain. Now Specker and Nate to push forward. This is the reading bomb site defense. and Order are short on util to even clear this top floor position.
Just under a minute to go too, and I like this. You know, they're not hesitating. May as well just push forward, get it going. C4 below though from Pika. It's gonna miss the mark. Order live to fight another day through that, but they've only got 40 seconds. Jackie's still holding such a good position here in Cocktail. Pika's still getting info on the pulse. It's really going to be a tough attack to turn around for Order.
Jack now holding down. He might get swung though. Looks like Specker and Nate have a decent way to push through this, but that said, one man here in this gunfight has a deployable shield and two others do not. Let's see what Jackie Wu, the rookie, can really do. Takes down Specker. Great refrag from Nate. But that's just about it. That's all we have time for. Pika can quickly finish off what was left of Nate. And Direwolves, once again, tail behind Order with another round, making it 5-4.
Yeah, really strong rounds in the end from Direwolves, but yeah, I don't know. Like, part of me also just says, you know, that was a lot of Souffle just getting a mad 3K in piano. Yep. And then it just wasn't savable for Order at that point. I think if you take that 3K out, you know, if Jack Dad doesn't get spawn peaked and Souffle doesn't kind of even play the position he did, I feel like the round could have progressed really differently. But look,
100%.
that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes a player will stand up and have an individual star moment, and that can certainly win a team around.
Yeah, and the thing about Siege, right, is we don't actually play that many rounds. It's only first to 7. Other games have a lot more rounds in them, and it just puts even more emphasis on every single round, every single play. And if it's just one guy, Souffle, getting a 3K and dictating the outcome of a round effectively on his lonesome, that's 1/7 of your way to victory.
That's exactly right. I think that's such a good point too. That's so easy to like not think about with Siege. You know, first to 7. It's not a massive amount of rounds. I mean, it feels like it's a lot of game, but the rounds really have weight to them. And you're right, you know, one player just going off for 1 or 2 of those rounds that you win, that does have an impact, like quite an impact. So that could be what it is here. You know, it could be enough to even spark Direwolves into just a bit of a momentum swing. And, you know, 3 rounds is all it takes. They'll be 7-5, they'll get the map points.
An Order 1 round off of getting at least that overtime guaranteed minimum 1 point out of this equation. I think after being in the lead, they would be disappointed if that was all they managed to carry away from this match. But regardless, this has been an epic improvement for Order over previous stages when they versed Direwolves. They've lost 7-3 both times, now 5 rounds in a row. I still feel like Order's favored to win this game. And I put down Direwolves, I think, on my prediction, so I'm ready to be stood corrected here in the face of this new revamped Order.
Yeah, me too. I predicted Direwolves, but especially after seeing the start of the match, I'm really feeling like Order have such a big opportunity here to lock in some much needed 3 points to start this stage. Like, again, they are at the bottom of the standings. They are looking to just create some separation, get back into the pack. Getting 3 points out the gate, it really is going to alleviate a lot of pressure for them from the get-go.
And it's not just about dodging, of course, the eventual relegations that we will have, the exact format of which I will say has not been announced, so stay tuned for more info on that one in the future. But Order, regardless, you know, you're near the bottom of the standings, you're definitely going to be one of those teams in danger of relos. And Order want to dodge that, just like Souffle is dodging the gunfire from the roof. Another thing I will say for Order as well is, if they win this game, they finally get rid of that monkey on the back that has been Direwolves. Well, what kind of a confidence booster would that give them going into the rest of Stage 3? Order is very much a momentum-driven team mentally, and once they have that confidence, there's nothing that can stop them.
Yeah, I think it will be very significant, honestly. If they manage to secure 3 points here, I think it's just going to be... You know, it's just starting them off on the right foot. They haven't had that yet. Stage 1, they lost the first game to Direwolves. Stage 2, they lost the first game to Direwolves. So getting through that voodoo, getting themselves points to start off, I think it will be everything to them. And this round is progressing very well so far for Order. These first couple of minutes, they managed to get 2 picks, and they're progressing nicely. Yeah, both of them nades.
Yeah, and moreover, the Clash dismantled now as well. And while they might be a little bit low on util to clear out this shield in washrooms, there's no doubt Order have made some excellent progress so far. Here come the flashes, and that's a good pick from Jackie Wu. And another nade kill! Jackie for the double! And the newbie is stepping into big shoes. He's gonna have to do a lot more than that, Nate, to pop the shield. And that is see you later, Jackie. Order propel themselves onto match point in style.
Hey, I didn't see. Was that a nade that blew up the shield? Like,
No, he'd already used both. It was
okay.
he shot the canister.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say surely not another frag grenade kill, basically. But anyway, either way, that was a really good round from Order. Honestly, that was a bit of a statement. You know, we were talking about how Souffle's 3K maybe was just all that really was for Direwolves in round 9, and Order have just brushed that aside. That was just such a great opening in that round. You know, those 2 nade kills to get the man advantage within the first minute and a half. It really set Order up for victory.
Yeah, and Direwolves now staring down the barrel of a regulation loss. Every single stage so far, they have at least had that 3-point in the bank that they managed to get against Order. And, well, when you're only talking about getting 8 points in Stage 2 for 7th Heaven, 11 in Stage 1, when there's only 5 points of separation between the number 1 team and the number 8 team, every single point counts. Order have already booked themselves 1. Gunning for the triple here. Direwolves hot on their heels, but I'm not sure we'll see overtime here, Raven. I think that the new Order we're seeing is a sight to behold. The Direwolves might not be able to take the heat.
10 seconds to insertion.
Might just be right. We'll see. This was a very good attack from Order last time. Doesn't look like a massive amount has really changed with the setup either. Seems like Direwolves are really sticking what they were trying to do in the first place. So look, let's just see whether there's a way for them to adapt here to Order or not, or whether conversely, you know, do Order try and stick for the same thing? It certainly looks like it. A lot of them have spawned over here on the west side of Bakery.
Oh, hello. Let's wave at the opponents outside, droning, walking around, flashbang, especially with the way that flashbangs have changed. My God, they are potent. Nico's taking full advantage. Once again, Order make their way very quickly in. There is no one on the bomb site right now. Direwolves favoring this second floor control. They may well expose that bomb site for Order to take.
I kind of see it, you know, Pika playing above with the scanner on Pulse. You know, he can call out any position on site. Doesn't mean it's necessarily bangable from the top. And Nate has found another opening here for Order, being fairly effective these last 2 rounds on entry with this Maverick. And again, Direwolves back up against the wall this first minute. Kitchen just isn't feeling like it's working out that well for them.
Attackers have recovered
11 kills for Nate. He has been on fire. And the clash is starting to look a whole lot less scary for Order as they once again get the injure. If Ray could manage to crawl towards a Kona station, he could get revived, but it's not going to happen. Once again, the nade game is so strong. A C4 of Souffle's own replies back, but Order are still in the driver's seat, ready to put pedal to the metal.
Yeah, they still have that man advantage, and they've still got some pretty decent map control in through Bakery. This is important. Direwolves, they've got 2 players hold up above in Mining and Train. Importantly as well, Pika is getting all of the info with that cardiac sensor. So how do Order deal with this right now? They've got a potential opportunity to just rush EDs, the only one on site. But Direwolves are going to know about it if they do it.
Pika's ready and waiting. 50 seconds, flashbang goes in, air jab goes in, and once again he waits. But no, the timing! He just missed out, but Jack Daddy does go down. He at least gets 1 for his trouble. Order need to go deep here, but ED, no gas, has to hold on here. Playing at the coffee machine, Souffle can find one, and Order start to fall apart as they collapse at the final hurdle. Bailey looking to get that diffuser planted. Nate can find one Bailey, and this could be it. This could well be the match point Order have been chasing. Direwolves put all their hopes down onto Pika with the shotgun and pistol in the post plant. It is not enough. Order storm through the gates. They take down the Direwolves, and they get their first points here for APAC South Stage 3.
Yeah, look, beautiful victory. They almost did the flip the table. They almost got the 7-3 over Direwolves, 7-4 in the end. But either way, it was a really great map from Order. A couple of moments a little bit scary, but look, they look like a different team coming into stage 3, and that's